Hi! Here's everything you wanted to know about vintage Betty Spaghetti and the newest Betty Spaghetti. Vintage Betty Spaghetti's arms work as legs, making very cute, proportionate figures with the new Betty Spaghetti. The legs fit in really tightly, and the shoes fit on tightly, and she's very cute. Here we have the vintage McDonald's Betty Spaghetti, and these legs fit in vintage Betty Spaghetti. It's not from McDonald's, very well, very tightly. The shoes don't come off of vintage McDonald's Betty Spaghetti. Here we have vintage Betty Spaghetti legs, one new Betty Spaghetti boot, and a vintage Betty Spaghetti pink shoe. Both of the shoes fit on tightly. The pink one is just a little bit shorter, so there's going to be a little bit of a height difference in between them. And new Betty Spaghetti has right and left shoes, whereas vintage Betty Spaghetti has identical shoes. They can go on either foot. I've put new Betty Spaghetti legs in the new one's armholes, and they fit very tightly. They snap in really well, and the Betty Spaghetti hands fit on very tightly and securely from vintage Betty Spaghetti also. That was an unfortunate thing that we lost with new Betty Spaghettis, that the hands don't come off for easy bracelet changes and more fun parts. It's disappointing. So here we have a vintage Betty Spaghetti doll who has new arms, new Betty Spaghetti arms, and they fit in tightly. Whoops! Betty Spaghetti. They fit in tightly, and she has new Betty Spaghetti legs as well, and those fit in tightly. And old vintage Betty Spaghetti shoes snap on very securely to the new Betty Spaghetti legs. How many times have I said Betty Spaghetti? It's been a lot. And then McDonald's Betty Spaghetti can use either of the legs. The skin tone leg is the new Betty Spaghetti with a new Betty Spaghetti shoe, and this silver leg is a vintage Betty Spaghetti leg with a vintage Betty Spaghetti shoe. Her arms don't come off, her head doesn't come off. The heads come off differently from the vintage ones to the newest ones. On this one, the peg is on the body. The peg is on the body, and the head has a hole, and it snaps on. It's kind of a wobbly peg. It doesn't feel sturdy, and in fact, these newer dolls don't feel sturdy. The weight of their head and their hair makes their bodies part, like right there. They're kind of a softer plastic, whereas the vintage Betty Spaghettis have a hard plastic. They're lighter weight, and they snap very securely on. Now, see, the vintage Betty Spaghetti has a head that has a peg on it. Interestingly enough, the shirt pegs into this new Betty Spaghetti bottom. It just doesn't look good at all. I mean, maybe. It looks like it's an oversized shirt, but the problem is you can't put the new head on. You have to put the original head on, and then I think it just looks It just looks silly. Like, we don't need to be doing that either. But the peg does fit in there. It's a hard fit. I don't know if it goes all the way down or not. No, it doesn't go all the way down. It doesn't look good, as anyway. So, I like the eyes of the old ones so much better. Look at those eyes. And those eyes. Actually, her eyes are really, really amazing. And then these eyes are just like really, they're all the same looking for one. It's not that interesting. Another difference between new Betty Spaghetti and vintage Betty Spaghetti is their hair. The new ones have hair that is removable. I think that this pigtail has more spaghetti strands to it. It's thicker. I mean, you can kind of tell that this pigtail I took out is just like the thicker rooting. But as far as the material, it's the same thing. Spaghetti-y. Spaghetti-y, rubbery. Same gauge, same feel. But I think that that's also what makes them so heavy. McDonald's Betty Spaghetti actually doesn't have spaghetti hair, which is, this McDonald's toy is like one of the weirdest things, that there's a McDonald's toy of Betty Spaghetti, and she doesn't have her Betty Spaghetti hair. It's just like a braided cord. See, it's like not even Betty Spaghetti hair. This vintage Betty Spaghetti has curly hair, and they're like amazing curls. I'm sure her name isn't, like, I'm sure she has a name. They all have names. All the Betty Spaghetti characters have their own names. I'm pretty sure that this one is Hannah, but I don't remember her name. I think she kind of looks like Chloe. I think she looks kind of like a Chloe to me. But yeah. So, non-removable hair, removable hair, but still the same spaghetti texture. It's nommable. Their hair is still nommable. I like the shoes of the old ones so much. So much. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're both now standing independently. The old ones stand really easily. They're weighted just so much better. So much better than the new ones. Like, I pick up this thing, this little thing, comparatively, it's so hefty. It's like, whoa. Whoa. And she's just, wow, that's so light. So the lightness probably helps her stand on her own. But that's always really cool when a doll can stand on their own. The new ones that I have, the 3-pack, did come with little clear stands. I don't know where one of them is right now, but it's a little oval stand and it has Betty Spaghetti and raised letters on it. And those help them to stand, but honestly, even on the stands, they're not balanced well and they don't stand all that great. For display purposes, you can have McBetty, McDonald's, McBetty. You can have, for display purposes, you can have McBetty's legs on a new one, but they are not secure. And even if you like really shove them in there, like these are different than any of the Betty Spaghetti pegs in this lineup. It's weird. But these do fit into the vintage ones, so you can have like short little sisters. The thing with if you do have, that would be so cool if I could just like lower this onto here. Oh yeah. When you have the big feet on the, they stand on their own. She's standing on her own. The new Betty Spaghetti with McBetty's feet stands on her own, probably because the, wait, was she standing? Yeah, she's standing on her own. Like, maybe her tail was making her cheat, but the proportion, and like the, fine. The weird thing about this is that this is like comparatively, McBetty's feet are so much bigger, and McBetty herself is shorter than the original normal non-McDonald's Betty's, and her head even looks bigger. And her eyes are all weird. Like this poor figure is not a shining example of Betty Spaghetti's wonderfulness. Like, look at the eyes. That's the angle she looks best at. That's her best angle. I love this shirt that she has. I like totes wish that I could rip her head off and put Hannah in this shirt. But I would have to unscrew it, which I might do that if I can find my McDonald's screwdriver, because I have one. Triangle screwdriver. I have at least one. But yeah, vintage ones stand on their own. They got the hands that come off. So like if, and they did have different skin tones of vintage Betty Spaghetti, if I had a black Betty Spaghetti or Hispanic Betty Spaghetti vintage one, I could take the hands off and give them the appropriate color hands if they're like matching for flesh tone, which is a cool thing that it always looks like they're wearing gloves, which I think that's cool. But Chloe has flesh tone hands, so they like match, and Hannah has like crazy clear jelly hands. It's awesome. Oh yeah, I guess that's another difference of the vintage versus the new, is the accessories. Like, look at, like, that's the coil from the new one, and look at how much coil in the vintage one. So much coil, and hers don't come off, and they're not real coils, it's just like a bead thing. And they got these fat beads. Look how fat that bead is. And these are the same. Just give me your arm. Just give me your arm. I'm just gonna take her arm. Ah. The rubbery part of the arm is the same diameter, and it's such a bigger bead on the vintage ones. I love it. And there's a big metallic one. Hannah has the coolest. It's a fat star. It's a fat glittery see-through star. It's so fabulous. And then these things, this is like a littler coil. It's so wonderful. I love it. Yeah. So there's pros and cons of vintage versus new. It's like a trade-off. It's like you get removable hair, but you don't get removable hands, or you get removable hands and you don't get removable hair. So it's just whatever you want. And yeah, luckily we can kind of have the best of both worlds because we can give the new one vintage arms. Put her arms back on. Yes. There you go, your arm is back on. Oh, see, I like messed with her a little bit. And she's coming apart. They don't stay together good. It's very frustrating. Because it just doesn't feel like as much a durable quality as the vintage ones. Like, there's no flap. There's no flap when I mess with lightweight Hannah, and when I mess with her. That little peg has too much weight on it. Push that back down. Yeah, there we go. I like the old ones better than the new ones, except the new ones have a lot of great themes. I don't have those ones. I have the 3-pack that I got on clearance, but I've seen the new ones that have like magical girl themes and princess themes, and the vintage Betty Spaghetty didn't have anything like that. This one has, she has an iridescent skirt. Yes. That's cool. This is the best discovery, I think. Look at her. Is she not precious? And that is with the vintage arms from Betty Spaghetty used as legs. And here I'm gonna get... Oh, should have Betty Spaghetty races for putting them together. That would be fun. Ta-da! I think that they really dropped the ball on not having the hands come off, because for one, you've got these cute paws, and she's the only one that can wear those paws, and sleeves and hands. The skin tone doesn't match, and the skin tone, there's also skin tone on this, and like this, that Betty Spaghetty doesn't need to be in that tank top. You know, like, she could have a shirt on underneath that, or a color underneath it, and I intend to paint it so that it's not weird. And then, I also need to paint this because she's got her midriff showing, and like, what? Like, these are kids' toys. Like, let's not. Let's not. And see, this one has the black underneath and doesn't have skin tone showing, so it's really inconsistent, and I don't appreciate it. More than anything, though, I don't appreciate that I can't take off those paw hands and put them on anyone else. But this is the height difference. This is a normally assembled new Betty Spaghetty, and this one has normal arms, but her leg pegs are the vintage Betty Spaghetty arms, and they make her this adorable height. It reminds me of Shopkins. I don't know if, I don't have a Shopkins to tell, but I don't know if that might be the scale of Shopkins. It's very exciting that there is backwards compatibility in Betty Spaghetty dolls, and yeah. There's lots of neat vintage Betty Spaghetty. There's actually so many of the dolls, like way more than they've made for these newest ones. So there's lots more possibilities, and that's why Betty Spaghetty is so fun. That's why I like it so much, because there's so many possibilities for changes and fun, and it's also really easy and really fast. Oh, yay! Okay. Thank you for watching all about weird Betty Spaghetty assemblage, and comment and let me know if you like the old Betty Spaghetty better or the new Betty Spaghetty better. Better. Which is the better spaghetti? Tell me which is the better spaghetti, and tell me why you think it's the better spaghetti. So, yay, better spaghetti!